with another Data Byte with Boilermaker, Jake Alge. Jake, during our conversation, I heard the word pipeline come up, and that's something I've kind of looked into. I want to preface this with the disappointment that I had when I really looked at RAG and data pipelines, and the fact that it's kind of a lie when you say that large language models are natural language processors, because at the data level, to my understanding, you have to break that down into like vertexes, and it ends up being ones and zeros in the long run anyway. It's not reading language, it's reading ones and zeros. We're just making it more friendly for people who don't like math to have a conversation in ones and zeros. Am I wrong there?
Definitely not wrong. It's a pretty amazing thing that it has been made into a chatbot such that it can, to the machine, it's all boiling down to ones and zeros and recognizing patterns and abstracting, but then it's going to spit back out actual words. Yeah, I think that's a pretty amazing thing that's able to do that, and it goes to show kind of how flexible and like an artificial intelligence model can be. I mean, it can speak to us in words, but whatever purpose it's serving, it's going to be able to translate its pattern recognitions and its outputs and its predictions into whatever format that may be. It might not be words, it might be the design of a system, or whatever it may be.
Yeah, and that brings up a good point, and I think that here's where we get into kind of like I hate the buzzy term of garbage in, garbage out, but really like context engineering. And so that's where I think your data pipelining comes in. If you're really wanting to leverage AI in a business sense, whether it's machine learning or large language models, like where you're bringing the data from and how you're cleaning it up and how you're chunking it and parsing it. Like, can you just give like a lay person's overview of what it looks like to stream data or to pipeline data to a source, from a source to a source?
Right. So mine may not be the most traditional example, because a lot of mine is, I'm pulling a report, and then I'm pulling an Excel file. Maybe I'm feeding it into a database with like a query. Maybe that's something I kind of already have set up to run based off like a trigger. So it's not necessarily I'm going in and doing everything. And then from there, I have a process where I can kind of press a button, and it's been set up such that it will clean the data, load it, and maybe send out a report depending on some set of conditions. I kind of think of a data pipeline broadly as just moving data, maybe changing its source, moving it from like a spreadsheet to a database to an application that can generate a dashboard or a report, like moving it into a business intelligence tool. Or kind of something along those lines. A lot of mine is ad hoc, and I'm writing like a Python script to do it, and setting it up to run. But I think in larger scale kind of enterprises or operations, this is often done within like applications such as like a Snowflake or something like that.
Yeah, I guess the question I'd have for you that I've started to kind of question in my mind is like, I got into large language models and vibe coding. I don't write code at all. So vibe coding's actually gotten to the point where I'm ready to go back into Lovable or something, because I think I could probably create an app that would be useful in my life. I doubt that I would create a commercial size app, right? But Claude can write SQL or SQL Postgres or Python. Like, how far away do you think we are from a business being able to move data around using SQL, but having Claude write that SQL and not having someone who's a data analyst on there? Because I would love for all of you data analysts to have $100,000 a year jobs everywhere, but not every small business can afford that or even come close. How close are we to a layperson being able to leverage tools like Claude in order to do data analytics?
I definitely agree AI should be, it can be a tool to be leveraged by any data analyst or just business person in general. I'm kind of going back and forth. Part of me wants to say, I'm not sure that we're also close in the sense that I think that someone who is using it, you still need this concept knowledge. Like me, I don't really know software engineering principles or like software design. I can do my best to kind of go on, Claude and generate a ton of code, ask it all the principles of design, but there is probably some base knowledge that I'm missing from experience when I'm talking about like building an app from the ground up. As far as writing like just scripts, writing SQL, I feel like, AI agents could do that very well. I use it to look up syntax and stuff like that. It's so quick. And so I feel like we're kind of already there. But I do feel like there is a ways to go before you can use it with 100% confidence that you're going to be able to kind of build something from the ground up, if that makes sense, like an application or a full like data warehouse. But just writing scripts, I think it's a really good tool to use.
It does. It totally resonates because this is the same thing with SQL as it was with code for what. Where I've always been as someone who can't read that stuff is, wow, that is so cool that you wrote all that. Now what the hell do I do with it?
Right. Like, where do you load it?